let me start recording, and then I'll go back to sharing my screen. But I am on this page to simply show that uh, Nayera doesn't count because she's doing her packet. I've been talking to her mom. I do need her to send me pictures, but otherwise, that's fine. Miss Williams obviously doesn't count. She is in our class though to simply help you guys. And then whoever this is, Kaylin or Jeremiah. So, and Sombriti does count because she sent me pictures and I just saw it. So, Chantel, Honest, Daisy, Bebeck, if you guys get me your homework, then that means I'm going to have, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5. That's 10 pies in the face today. That would be
Mr. Hughes?
awesome. Yes.
So I forgot to do it the day. So when I tried to do it today, I tried it in the morning. I couldn't find it. It just said missing.
Right. So I can go back and fix that. But so guys, I did start something new, kinda. I started putting a due date on them because I need to know like when things are late or not anymore, like now. So if you don't do the homework like the day I give it to you, this goes for everybody. Because everybody needs to know this. If you don't do your homework the day I give it to you, so like school's over, do your homework. If you don't, then you can't do it like ever kind of thing because you miss the due date. So if it was due yesterday by midnight, which I think it was like due by 11:59 or something, but if it's due at midnight and you don't do it before midnight, then it tells me, it says, yep, they get a 0 and you can't do it anymore, basically. So it'll just tell me 0 missing, nothing's there. So when that happens, I have to extend the date. And when I extend it, then it lets me put in a late grade. So for every day it's late, I take off 5 points. Don't let that worry you because if you lose 5 points, it's still an A. If you lose 10 points, it's still an A. You should be worried when you miss 8 days of homework though, because then no matter what, it's an F. No matter what. If you miss 8 days and I take off 40 points, the highest grade you can get is a 60, and that's failing. So if you miss 1 day or 2, don't get too stressed because if you are communicating with me that like there's issues or you needed help or something, like I'm going to understand and that'll be fine. But like if I just don't hear from you for 2 days and you're like, oh, Mr. Hughes, can I do the homework late? I'll be like, sure, but I'm taking points off kind of thing. So that's how that is. So honest was very honest with me. That's a weird sentence to say. He was very honest with me, so I'm going to extend his due date because he did try to do it and he did try to submit it, and it just happened to be a little late, so the computer wouldn't let him do it. So just so everybody knows, that's kind of how it works. Like, it said Deshaun and Demetrius's were great and the other 3 weren't. Deshaun, Demetrius, when did you guys do yours?
Like,
Just now.
yeah.
Oh, so it does let you do it even if it's late?
Yeah. For some things.
Interesting. Well then, honest, I don't know what happened. I thought you weren't allowed to do it if it's late, but if Deshaun and Demetrius could do it, then I don't know why you couldn't do it. We'll figure that out. For now, though, let's try and get science going. You guys all tend to be really good at science, so I'm pretty sure this will go by fast. Hold on, I want to see if this. Oh, Deshaun just said, I'm here. And he sent me a picture of his Ed puzzle being done. Woohoo! Boom. See, guys, that works too. Real quick, I promise that we'll get into science. Because this did happen to a 5th grader yesterday. They did the ed puzzle, but then it like wouldn't let them submit it. So they sent me a picture. So like Deshaun just sent me a picture of his ed puzzle done. And so like if it's for some reason not submitting, or it shows me, hey, Deshaun didn't do it, but I know that's not true because I have it in my phone, Deshaun sent me a picture of it done, then he's not gonna get in trouble. I'll mark it done. So when in doubt, take pictures of everything and send it to me. That would be amazing.
Sorry, Mr. Hughes, for being late.
Thank you, B-Beck. No worries, buddy. I've just been talking a bunch, like announcement stuff. So we are just getting started actually right now. Okay? As long as you all participate at least once, you don't have to participate again. All right? That goes for everyone. Again, I think this will go by fast because you guys are pretty good at science, I feel like. And then, yeah. All right. So let's get started. This little unit that we're in about experimental protocols will so far always give us an experiment. The experiment will be the same for all of our questions. So pay close attention. Try to remember as much as you can. So that way, when it does ask you the questions, you can remember the materials, the procedure, things like that, obviously. If you have not been here for any of our experimental protocols, all an experimental protocol is all the materials, the procedure, which is how you do everything. So like step 1, step 2, step 3, kind of like like a recipe or something. And then sometimes there's a data table, not all the time, but sometimes there's a data table, which is where you would write, what's happening in your experiment. Like I materials needed for slime. I need this. How I do it. I add this first, I mix this, I add the color, I mix it again, stuff like that. Procedure or data table. My slime turned out like this, or my slime turned out like that, stuff like that. So that's all it is, but the official sciencey term for it is called an experimental protocol. For this one, our experiment is about evaporation. This experiment looks at salinity, or the amount of salt dissolved in water. The experiment investigates how salinity affects evaporation. The experiment tests tap water, which contains very little salt, and water mixed with different amounts of table salt. All right. Again, salinity is just, like it says, salt dissolved in water. So salt water, essentially. So if you've ever been to an ocean, it's that basically. All right, materials, guys. We pay close attention to the words, okay? Remember, because anyways, if you've been here, you'll remember why we have to pay close attention to like the adjectives that they use. Okay, 2 large glass flasks, 9 identical glass beakers, 9 teaspoons of table salt, 1 graduated cylinder, room temperature tap water. What a graduated cylinder is, it's just like a really long tube, and it has like like measurements on the side of it, so you can measure how much like you put in it. But it's like a very long skinny tube. Oh, I can draw on the screen, and I'm an art teacher, so I can draw it. A graduated cylinder looks like this. Okay, this isn't a piece of paper, so it's not going to be straight. But it looks oh my gosh. So it looks something like this, and then there's, little measurements on it, and then it like, you can measure your water and go like this. Oh, my water is 5 milliliters or something like that. And then it usually, I don't know, has like a base or something. But that's really bad drawing. You guys know Mr. Hughes can draw better than that. Okay, anyways, let's continue. All right, guys, our procedure. Okay, we are going to measure and pour 650 milliliters of tap water into each flask. Use the graduated cylinder to measure precisely. Add 3 teaspoons of salt to 1 flask and label the flask medium salinity. Add 6 tablespoons of salt to the other flask and label it high salinity. Swirl each flask until the salt is dissolved. I don't know why they didn't say stir, but swirl. Label 3 beakers very low salinity. Using the graduated cylinder, measure and pour 200 milliliters of tap water into each of these beakers. Label 3 beakers medium salinity. Measure and pour 200 milliliters of medium salinity solution into each. Label 3 beakers high salinity. Measure and pour 200 milliliters of high salinity in each. Place all the beakers next to each other in a warm and sunny area. After 3 days, use the graduated cylinder to measure the amount of water remaining in each beaker. Record your results in this table. Very low, medium, high after 3 days. So, question 1. What materials are required? Select all that apply. All right? If you raise your hand, you're allowed to ask me to scroll up, by the way. Our options are beakers of different sizes, graduated cylinder, 9 teaspoons of salt, 9 glass flasks. Samriti.
I know that one of them is a graduated cylinder.
That is correct.
Can you slide up?
Yes, I can. Right there.
Go down now.
Okay. Let me also look at it. I don't want to get run. Okay.
9 teaspoons of salt.
Correct.
And was it? Oh, I feel blind now.
No, it's okay. It's a lot to remember. So let's scroll back up.
Okay, go down. Yeah, that's all I think.
Yep. I think I agree with you because so this says 9 glass flasks. This straight up says 2 glass flasks. Okay? Flasks and beakers are completely different. For those of you that don't know, and this is Mr. Hughes doing his best to like draw it again, a beaker is like, it looks like a cup. It has like a little lip on it. And it kind of looks like a teapot almost. So like that's a beaker. Okay, it's like a cup. Oh, and it's like, obviously it's clear so you can see through it. But it has this little lip on it so that you can like pour the stuff out. And then a flask. Oh God, a flask is more like, I don't know, like the typical thing you see in a science experiment, like one of these things. Okay, so just so everybody knows, just fun little lesson. Okay, but yeah, so it said 9 flasks, we got 2, so she's right. And then beakers of different sizes, and it says identical beakers, so Samriti is correct. Boom. All right. Graduated cylinder. So this is what Mr. Hughes tried to draw, and I was very bad at it, clearly. But that's a graduated cylinder. Again, very long, skinny tube with all those little measurements on the side. It measures the water. If you remember in the experiment, they're measuring like how much water and how much of the salt solution they're putting in. So yeah. All right. Same everything, right? This time, how many beakers will contain only tap water? How many beakers will contain only tap water? How many beakers will contain only tap water? Okay. Ayub, is your hand up for this, or is it just still up from the last one? Excuse me. Sorry. Ayub, is your hand still up from the last one or this one? Or is someone typing? Deshaun, some of my May 1 work that I did not do say 0 out of 100. We can talk about that in a little bit, Deshaun, but yeah, if it's from a while ago, it probably will say 1 or a 0. We'll talk about that. Ayub, what's up? Ayub. Okay, Ayub, I don't hear anything, so I'm gonna call on Sombrady. Sombrady, what's up?
There's 650 millimeters tap water.
That is true, yeah. In all of them. So is that one of the how many teaspoons? How much? So yes, that is correct. So for this one specifically, how many beakers will contain only tap water? Do you know how many of these will contain only tap water?
Uh,
That's okay.
what do you mean by that?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
So it means which beaker, or how many beakers have only tap water, meaning they don't have any additional salt added to it. So if you remember, we have our 9 beakers. 3 of them, oh, I'm saying the answer. Some of them have a lot of salt solution. You know, they mixed a bunch of salt and then poured it in. Some of them have a little bit of salt mixed in, and then some of them have just tap water because tap water already has a very low salinity. So some of them are just tap water with nothing added. So it wants to know how many are just tap water with nothing added.
1.
Close. One, it's definitely one of the groups. So how many in that group? Look at
5.
close. Look at question 5, 6, and 7, and you'll find your answer. So look in those ones. It's in one of those.
I label 3 beakers very slow, whatever that word is, using the graduated cylinder measure the where is it?
Right.
Measure and pour 200 millimeters of tap water into each beakers.
So how many?
3.
Yes. So there's
I
only
feel so
nope.
dumb.
No, this is a lot of information. So yes, but it's 3 that have just tap water with nothing else. Now this one, how many teaspoons of salt are needed to make the high salinity solution? Reham, I saw your hand. Reham, do you want to try this one? Hello?
Hello.
Oh, hi. I
Hi.
thought you were gonna do the chat box. Yeah, so this question, how many teaspoons of salt are in the high salinity solution?
How many what?
how many teaspoons of salt are used in the high salinity solution?
6.
6. That is correct. All right, and then how much time will pass between setup and collection of data? How much time will pass? And I will let Reham.
3 days.
3 days. Yes. Ah. All right. Boom. We are correct. Good job, everybody. Excuse me. All right. Some Brady Reham, they've earned their participation points. Remember, everyone else, you need to participate at least once. All right. So Ayub, hey, I tried calling on you, but you didn't say anything. So you can hopefully redeem yourself in this one. Why does the data table have 3 boxes to fill for each water salinity level? Why? Because each level of salinity is tested in 3 different beakers. Because the amount of water remaining in each beaker is measured every day for 3 days. Or because there are 3 different levels of salinity tested in the experiment. Ooh, this one's challenging. Make sure you read it carefully.
Can you scroll back up?
Yes. So you'll. And Ayub, I've done this before, but if you don't know what it is, but you know what it's not, you can tell us what it's not. Process of elimination, if you would like.
Okay, you can go back down now.
All right. So do you want to tell us what it is or what it is not?
It is not the amount of water remaining in each beaker is measured every day for 3 days.
That is true. You're right. Yep. Because it straight up says it measures it after the 3 days is over, but it doesn't measure it every day. So, right. So, got a 50-50 chance now.
The answer, I think, is each level of salinity is tested in 3 different beakers.
Each level of salinity is tested in 3 different beakers.
Yes.
All right, let's find out. Good job, buddy. That is correct. Yeah, they were tested in 3 different beakers. You didn't have them all in the same beaker, obviously. So that was correct. That one was tough. So good get, or not guess. You got that. Sorry. Not trying to discredit. You did get that. Good job. Okay, next one. Which of the following steps should you do before pouring salt water into the beakers? What do we do before? So, ideally, find the step where we're pouring and then make sure you look at all the ones that happened before. Okay? Okay. All right. I think we've had a decent amount of time looking. So, first, and this one, I would love it if someone other than Reham, somebody or IU answer, because I'm gonna just throw a question out there. Can someone tell me which step starts the pouring? Because if we know which step starts the pouring, then we know to do everything before that step. So can someone, other than the 3 I named, help me? Demetrius.
Hold on 1 minute.
You're fine.
Um,
Which step is the first step you see the word pour?
Six.
Okay, we definitely see it in 6. Okay.
What, one?
Oh, biscuits. Okay, sorry. Okay, well, we're canceling that one out only because the question specifically says pour. I didn't even see that one because it specifically says pouring salt water. So in the first one, yes, the word pour is there, but we're not doing anything with salt water yet. So we're not going to do
Three.
that. Is it really in 3?
No.
Okay. So you're close when you say 6. It's not 6, but you're close.
5.
Yes. Yeah. So 5 is the first one where we see pour as far as salt water and stuff's concerned, where we're doing all this salinity stuff. Okay. So anything before step 5 is fair game. Okay. Which, if you can see those 4 steps there, okay, I'm going to go down. All right. So before pouring salt water, we can pour water into the flasks. We can measure an amount of salt. We can dissolve the salt, or we can measure the water remaining. So which ones can we do? Which ones can we do? Okay. Chantel. You can also tell us what it's not, if that helps.
Yeah. Can you go back up, please?
Yes.
Just a little bit. Okay, go down.
Okay.
I think what it's not is the last one.
Correct. That's like the last step to do. Measure the water left. So that's like the end of the experiment. So it's definitely not that one. Good. All right, we got it down to 3.
And also it's not the second one.
It's not this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you think it's these 2?
Oh man.
Hey, I appreciate you participating and paying attention at least. That's good. I'll give you a hint. One of your answers is correct. And it is, oh, I can stamp. It's this one. Because you have to pour water into the flask before you can do anything. You can't do any of the salt water stuff without the water first. So you for sure can do that. However, dissolving the salt in the flask, we can't really do, oh, I can't move it. We can't really dissolve the salt yet. Can we? Swirl, oh, just kidding, I lied to you. So no, you are correct. Can we do this one though?
Okay.
Oh, it was all 3. Okay. So I lied to you.
Oh.
You were correct. I thought we had to dissolve the salt in the water before we did that, but that was not the case. we can, in fact, swirl each flask until the salt is dissolved. Do that first, and then we add it. But we also are measuring the salt. So the two I thought it was were the first two. I thought that one was wrong, but Mr. Hughes was wrong. Look at that. So interesting. Okay. Well, good job, Chantel. You showed Mr. Hughes he was wrong. Boom.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Woohoo.
Woohoo. Nerd.
Woohoo.
All
Nerd.
right. Data for the next one. Okay. Ooh, is that Naira? Can you text me back? Don't say in Zoom, but do I go to the pot and paste thing? Huh? The amount of time it takes for all the water to evaporate. Oh, I agree. The honesty is quick. Ooh, I will gladly answer that after this. What data are being collected and recorded in the table? The amount of time it takes for the water to evaporate, the amount of water
Nerd.
the amount of water remaining in the beaker, or the amount of salt water added to the beaker. Deshaun, I see your hand up.
Can you scroll up?
Yes.
Can you scroll down?
Mhm.
The first and last one?
Is this one? Okay, so we can't, we can only pick one. Are you saying it's not the first and last one because you're correct?
Yeah.
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 So the amount of time it takes for the water to evaporate, we're not measuring the amount of time, we're just measuring it at the end of 3 days. So he's right, it's not that one. And then the amount of salt water added, we're not, like, we're doing that, but that's not the data we're collecting. The data we're collecting is the amount of water that remains. So Deshaun, he did it backwards, but he did it right. He told us what it's not. And it's not those two, so it has to be the middle one. Good job, Deshaun. All right. Is this a question? Oh, okay. Which variables are held constant in this experiment? So guys, what in the experiment is the same throughout the whole experiment? The amount of salt dissolved in the water in each beaker, the amount of time that passes before the water remaining in each beaker is measured, the volume of water added to each beaker at the beginning. Bebeck, make sure you raise your hand. If you want to answer, I would love for you to do this one because you and has C1 gone yet? I don't think he did. So C1, Bebeck, and Honest are the only ones I haven't heard from yet. Well, there goes C1. So Bebeck.
Okay, so wait, how many questions are correct?
What, in this?
Yeah, how many do we choose like that are correct?
So you can choose as many as you want. It says select all that apply.
Hey, be back. Why you yelling, bro? We're not deaf.
Shh. Make sure we raise our hand. Okay, so Bebeck. It could be 1, 2, or 3 of these.
Okay, so wait. I think it's not the first one.
The amount of the amount of salt dissolved in the water in each beaker. Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. It's not that one. Good.
It's the last one.
Okay. Yes, the amount of or the volume of the water is the same in all of them because you can see here 650 milliliters into each of them. So yeah, that's correct. Now this middle one, do you think this one is right or wrong?
Dumb. of that passes before the water remaining in each beaker is measured. I think it's wrong
Why?
because, like, the amount of time that passes before the water remaining in each beaker is measured. That doesn't make sense.
Okay, that's fair. So, I'm going to highlight something. Let me find it. So, in step 9, after 3 days, use the cylinder to measure the amount of water remaining in each beaker. So it wants to know something that's the same. So for all of them, so at the end of those 3 days, we are measuring all of them. So that is the same. So it's held constant. So that actually is correct because the amount of time that passes before it's measured is the same. If I measured one on one day and then another on like a week, then yeah, that would have been wrong. But it is the same, so we're actually going to say that that's right. So, but Bibek, you helped us figure out what it was and was not. You did really good, man. Good job. So now, Siwan and then Honest, I just need to hear from you guys, and then we can get, how many do we have left? We got 2 more, it looks like. So that's perfect because Honest and Siwan are the last 2. Okay, Siwan or Honest, complete the statement. In this experiment, the salinity of the water added is the blank variable. The amount of water remaining after the days is the blank variable. As a reminder to both of you, independent, let me write it somewhere. So independent and then dependent. So dependent is the thing we can't control, and it's the thing that changes. Independent is the thing we did control, and it doesn't change. Okay, so our, I see C1. Okay, so C1, I see your hand. So what do you think?
I I think the top one is independent and the bottom one dependent.
All right, so the salinity of the water is independent, then the amount of water remaining is dependent. Yes, C1 is correct because the amount of water that's left over is depending on how much salt we put in it. But since we get to control how much salt we put in the beginning, that's independent. That salt stays, okay? Because salt cannot evaporate. Water can, but salt can't because it's technically a rock. It's a very, very, very tiny rock, but it is a rock. But salt can't evaporate. So that does stay the
Yeah,
same.
that'd be big.
So good job. All right, so Honest, I need you to do this one. I will help you through it. I am here if you need any help. So okay. Oh God. Okay. So which question can we answer? Honest. Where are you? Oh, are you guys that weird symbol-y thing? Feel free to change that back to your normal name. Honest is doing something. I mean, what's he doing? Like chores? Is he doing something for mom or is he like playing video games? Because if that's the case, I'm gonna be mad. If he's playing video games or watching TV, he needs to come back. If he's doing something for your mom, change. Oh, okay, that's fair. Okay, that's fine. Thank you for being honest with me. I just needed to make sure he wasn't, you know, breaking rules. Okay, well then this will go to anybody for now, because Honest is busy with family stuff. So, which question can we answer? Does the salinity of the water affect the rate of evaporation? Does the size of the beaker affect the rate of evaporation? Does the temperature of the water affect the rate? I'll just go on a whim and say Ayub wants to answer this.
Yes, I do. So it so the first one.
Yes. The salinity is what we're trying to test. If you remember, our beaker sizes are all the same, and then the temperature is all the same. Good job. All right, prediction. We don't need to do that. Bonus stage. How many questions is this? It's 3 questions. We don't have to do that. It's bonus. So, it's
We don't have time for
10:42.
that.
It's 10:42 plus I have like now that everyone's here, I have announcements and stuff to do anyways. So, we're not going to do bonus stage. So I'm going to stop that just real quick. Everyone's on mute still. Good. Okay. So, Honest Ayub, make sure Honest at least messages me in some way, shape, or form because he said he couldn't submit the work. I want to fix that because Demetrius and Deshaun said they could, and I saw it that it was, but they said they did it late, which means Honest should be able to submit it late if they could do it. But again, if not, I need to talk to him so we can figure that out. So I will, give me a sec. But for everyone else who I don't have it from yet, which I think is just 2 people in this class, well, technically 3, but me and Honest are going to figure that out. The other 2 of you, you need to do your homework from yesterday. And now on top of that, you'll have homework from today, which will be on what we learned today about, all this evaporation stuff. So make sure that happens. If you did do your homework from yesterday, then you have earned a pie in the face. What that means and why I'm doing it, again, if you missed the morning, and I'll do it really fast, I am trying to motivate you guys to do your homework because it is very important that you do your homework despite all this corona stuff. You cannot just be at home doing nothing and expect to go to 7th grade because unfortunately that's not going to happen. It'll come down to me and Principal Ben choosing, do we think you deserve to go to 7th grade? Do we think you are ready to go to 7th grade and learn 7th grade things? Because if you're just going to go to 7th grade and struggle and think, oh man, I don't know any of this stuff, I was never taught that, that's a lie, because I am doing my best to teach you everything you need to know for 7th grade. So if you're not doing your work, you will not go to 7th grade. The end.